All right, so since the session is being already recorded, let me start with welcoming you all. I am Rafał Barnowski. I represent EIP Dynamics. We are the gold partner around enterprise resource planning systems. And today we have a special treat for you because with our customer Nord-Trampoline, we're going to share with you our recent implementation of Business Central Online, which proved to be a truly great solution for global sellers because Nord-Trampoline is selling in 30 countries. They have 5 local versions implemented, and we did that within 4 months. So stay tuned. I'm sure that you're gonna learn quite a lot about Business Central Online today. So let's start with some housekeeping rules. Yes, as I already explained, the session is being recorded. It will last around 45 minutes, plus the Q&A. So please think about the questions that you would like to ask. We are looking for some challenging and interesting questions. Your microphones will be muted throughout the duration of this webinar, but you can communicate with us through a chat button. So if there are any technical issues or you would like to ask a question, please click on the chat button and voila. Today with us are our colleagues from Nord-Trampoline, Charlotte Svensson. Charlotte is a PMO and project manager who joined Nord-Trampoline back in 2017, and Patrick Felenius, who's global accounting and legal entities manager with Nord-Trampoline for the last 2 years. Both of them played a vital role in our implementation, and I would like to take this opportunity to thank you for that great cooperation and as well accepting this invitation and putting the time and effort to make it happen and to make it interesting, I hope. With us, also our colleagues from EIP Dynamics, Karol Ślusarski, who is a project manager, who was a project manager on that project, and Mateusz Przybylski, a lead consultant for this project. Okay, this is what we are going to cover today. We will start with Nord-Trampoline telling us a little bit about their business and so what they are selling, what are the markets that they are present on. Then we will have a background story, so the reasons for migrating and explanation of the business case behind it. And then we'll move to Karol, who will give his project manager's perspective and will explain you the implementation details. Then we will talk about benefits of going to the cloud and key success factors which helped with this project. Of course, not everything is sweet and rosy, so we also had some lessons learned during this cooperation, and we are going to share them openly with you. Then Mateusz will give his own perspective for this project, and we're going to break some plans for the future, and I will try to summarize the webinar, the key learnings for you. All that will be followed by, I hope, what will be an interesting Q&A. Please remember that this is part 1 of today's event because we're going to have more. In one of our promotional materials, we told that please help us celebrate our recent implementation of Business Central Online, and indeed we are in a celebratory mood today because we are not only having this session with Nord-Trampoline, but after that we'll be showing you Business Central Online live demo. Then Martin from Continia will show you what is our what happened to be our favorite add-on for Business Central, so Continia Document Capture, and we will finish off with some product details and what to consider when migrating to Business Central Online, or just migrating to a modern ERP solution. So Business Central Online is getting a lot of attention and traction within our organization, and I hope this will be a great educational experience for you. So without further ado, I would like now Charlotte to take the stage and tell us a bit of a background story about Nord-Trampoline. Charlotte.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Charlotte, and I am a project manager at North Trampoline. And I had the pleasure of implementing Business Central into our company together with EIP. And thank you for this opportunity to tell our story. But first, who are North Trampoline? We are a top 5 trampoline brand company selling premium products globally. And we built our company on 3 core values: love, quality, and pioneering spirit. And our values express how we do things, the way we treat each other, and the way we conduct our business. And at the end of the day, it's about what type of world we want to contribute to. It's about putting other people first and to always give our best and to release the new in us. Our vision is to create health and joy through activity and play. And by promoting activity and play through our products, we respond to a growing need for increased physical activity and social interaction among both children and adults. And in the long term, our vision entails healthier and happier children and better social relationships and communities. Our vision is to be the most desired trampoline choice for conscious families and young athletes around the world. And to be the most desired, we consciously need to align us with the outside world. Who are our customers? What our customers need, and what make us desired? And with a constant reality check, we make sure we have our customers' needs in focus always. Our brands. Our main brand is North Trampoline. That are the premium trampolines that we sell in all markets. And we have our Capital Play, our in-ground trampolines, and we have sales in selected markets for those. And we have our Playgrade that serves schools, commercial, and public in the UK. We are selling most of our trampolines in Europe, with the most sales in the Nordics, followed by UK and Germany. And with the 86%, we sell mostly to business to consumer, and we are now increasing business to business sales as well. And we sell our trampolines all over Europe, in the US, in Australia, and Dubai. And we have, in 30 different countries, we have our own websites, and in around 10 retailers, and have more to come. And we have offices in Sweden and in UK, and factories in China and Europe, and manufacturing in both Europe and US. And our history, here's a lot of details, but I won't go into all of them. We started the company in 2003, selling other trampoline brands. And in 2012, we started selling our own brand. And as well, we faded out the other brands. At the same time, Capital Play started their company in the UK. And a long story short, we are now from 2021 company heading towards one purpose, with one brand, working on as one team, and with one ERP system.
Great, thanks, Charlotte. Now, Patrick, why don't you give us some information about the background? So, what brought you to this conclusion that maybe a new ERP system is needed?
Thanks, Rafael, and thanks for the opportunity also to share our experience of this really great project that we did together. Now, I would say that I mean we came from an old system, now 2015, and we also had multiple ERP systems within the group. And in order for us to really move forward, we needed one system and an up-to-date system, and the new current solution is really meeting those demands. We were merging companies. We really looked for one way of working. We came from very different places. Let's say North and the Capital Play. We were at very different stages of our development as a company. So we needed one common system, and which also allowed us to harmonize our processes across the countries, which has been extremely important for us. And also we also got a possibility to automate our processes, especially from in the UK part. There were really a lot of manual processes, and now we are enabling the possibilities to really make it more efficient and streamlined across the different countries. And of course, any project is also a perfect opportunity to really fresh up your master data, and which is something that normally would deteriorate during over the years when you are in existing system, and now we get a good opportunity to really update the master data.
Great. So now moving on to Carol, because at the beginning of this presentation, we made a claim that we managed to make this implementation within 4 months. So Carol, I think that back in September, when you learned that this is going to be 4 months, you were not so much in a festive mood like we are now. So how did you turn it around and make it a success from your perspective?
Sure. Good morning, everyone. So first of all, yes, I was the one responsible for this unique and amazing project, and something which I can officially claim. Yes, we did it. We did it in 4 months or even less. So to explain how we achieved that, we need to be back to mid of September last year. And the input which we had initially that time was that we have very detailed analysis. So we know what's in the current system. We knew what are the expectations. And we know what we want to achieve. So let's say that we know what's the scope. Then the other information which were important at that time was that we did have to roll out the system for 7 entities in 5 countries. That was Sweden, Norway, Germany, who are already using the Microsoft Dynamics NAV. So the users were familiar with NAV system, and we had 2 companies in UK and US for whom the Dynamics NAV was a pretty new system. And then the another input information was, let's say, the expectation from the customer. And I remember Patrick at that time saying that, guys, we need to go live in January. There's no any other option to go further, simply because we are starting the peak season immediately after early spring. So there's no any other space to roll out the system later than January. So that time we sat down internally and review how to achieve that, how to build the best team for that. And we decided that we will build a team and develop team within 8 specialists, consultants and developers. And we divided into 2 teams. The one team was purely responsible for the countries which already knew NAV. So it was a slightly different approach, as we would need to get the data from the old system, let's say, improve some of the processes and move to Business Central. And the second team was responsible for the UK US, which didn't know the system well or at all. So for them, the key strategy was to learn the new system and then set it up as per their needs. Moving further on, a few words about the project management governance, as everyone these days is asking and discussing what's the best approach for the projects, whether it's a waterfall approach, whether it's the agile Scrum or Kanban or anything else. Something which we followed here was the hybrid approach. By hybrid approach, I mean that we use some specific for the waterfall project, like we did have a steering committee who was meeting every month. We did follow as well some specific from the Agile Manifesto, like in the initial stage of the project, we more focus on the product we were developing rather than documentation, which allow us to build the business and build the necessary processes faster. What made our project unique was the fact as well that unfortunately, I need to say so, we didn't have a chance to meet face to face. And that's something which is really unique, as I know that for this kind of systems, if I would ask anyone a year ago, no one would believe that it's possible to do such project without face-to-face meeting, as usually it's simply faster to sit shoulder to shoulder and set up a system. Few more information about the project is the fact that we built around 400 test cases for each country, which we initially our team ran a test on them, and then the customer was following the same test cases to verify whether a system fitting necessary requirements. And the another, let's say, information is that among this project, we built, we developed 16 different interfaces. To give some of the examples, you can see here that was Shopify, Optimizely, some banks like HBSC, Nordea, Klarna, Swebase, Continua document capture. And just to explain, following the analysis, some of these interfaces we developed from scratch. Some of them we rewrite from the old system. And some of these interfaces simply we bought from the market. So we followed and decided what's the best approach for this system. And moving on, last but not least, everyone is asking how did it happen, and that we managed to achieve that in 4 months. First of all, I would say that we did it slightly faster because from mid of September till mid of January, 17th of January, it's pragmatically 4 months, but if we consider the Christmas break and the New Year's Eve break, it's slightly even faster. So something characteristic for here is that the initial 2 months was mainly about the setting up the standard of the system, gathering the master data, preparing the initial documentation, and purely develop whatever modification required in the system. That time we put all our efforts, and the remaining 2 months was mainly around the testing, trainings, bug fixing, and at the end data migration. And just to mention, following the go live, we did have a stabilization period, and then after all, we saw that there are a few more improvements which we need to make in the system. So then we have so-called phase 2. And there we go.
Okay, great. Thanks, Karol, for your perspective. Now coming back to North Trampoline team, because what were the reasons of going to the cloud? This is something that was briefly explained, but I think that what will keep you there are the benefits that have presented themselves, and I think that we are discovering those benefits as we go. Every week is bringing new ones, and I know that Charlotte and Patrick had some discussions with their team to prepare that list actually. So Charlotte, Patrick, could you dive in and tell us more about the benefits that the organization is experiencing?
Yeah, we have listed a lot of benefits of going to Business Central Online, asking the whole company what they think is in the top. We won't have time to mention it all, but the experience that Business Central Online is faster and more reliable than our old system, and it is easy and quick to access. We access automatically with the login on the web with our Microsoft 365 And we can open several windows at the same time without using another user license. And we also experienced that there's a greater possibility to take advantage of standardizations. We, for example, use the standard setup of the roles and can have the same view for whole departments. And we also now have the possibility to grow globally and to implement automated processes.
And also it provides us a secure and stable system with a strong backup policy, and we don't really have to worry about that. It's something that sort of comes with a package.
Yeah, and the user experience is better. It's more fresh and have a modern interface. It's easy to use. For example, the search function. It's easy to use and to actually find what you're looking for. The design is much better, and it's easier to structure and design how you want the role to look like, for example.
Yeah, and it also gives visibility across the whole organization, and we have one source of information for our Power BI. We used to have 3 systems. We now have 1, and as well as also having the consolidation in all in one system, and that really saves time for our CFO as well in the monthly reporting. And overall, there is, I would say, more and better functionality in Business Central Online, especially the Continua document capture that is now integrated into Business Central, and that's a more user-friendly and easier way for users who are let's say just approving invoices, and also for the finance team. Following the different steps where the invoice is, it has also been quite beneficial for us. So, yep.
Great. And what do you consider contributed to the fact that we can call this project a success now?
During the pre-study and the implementation, we have experienced a very good and detailed analysis and documentation from you guys. And earlier we did not have much documented, and now we have it all both analyzed and documented, which was really important for us. And also from North Trampoline, we had a great, strong, focused, and committed team. That was really important and necessary to be able to go live after only 4 months. Everyone has been working really hard and committed.
Yeah, and then of course key in with such a short time frame is of course the collaboration with between North and EIP Dynamics, and being in quite a number of projects previously, I would say that this has been really good in this project, and everybody else, both from North and EIP, has really been solution focused all the way. We have been quick to respond to each other, and of course also sometimes with our outside office hours. Been a lot of people working long hours, long days, and we have really been connecting. And I would also like to add also the deep knowledge that EIP demonstrated about our business processes. My experience is that it's very easy to fall into, let's say, misunderstandings where between the let's say the business user and the consultants, where we're not really reaching each other. But here we saw that we really reduced and limited that risk by the knowledge demonstrated by EIP. That was very beneficial for us. And also the testing, and as said before, our partners provided a long list of test cases, which also was for us to really review. Do we need to test everything? Do we really need to test all, let's say, standard functions? So we focused on the interfaces, we focused on the key processes that we really needed to test, and along the way we did some assumptions, and knowing that we had our master data in order, we also knew that the standard processes should work with limited testing.
Yeah, and another key success factor has also been, and still are, to keep the discussions about the system across many departments, to work towards streamlining company-wide processes. And we want to, as we said before, have one standard way of working wherever it is possible.
And we also paid quite a lot of time on looking at, all right, how do we want our support organization to look like moving forward? And we actually have it based on 3 legs today, where we have a dedicated system owner, which is Charlotte. So we always have somebody overall responsible for the performance of the system, keeping in contact with our partner, and also driving the development of the system and making sure that we solve tickets and stuff like that. And then we had the first line of support, which were our key users. So we have a key user organization in place where we have appointed key user per function, and that allowed us for them to learn more about the system, because it's difficult to find time for everybody to know everything. So the users normally go to the key user for support when they run into a problem. And if the key users, sometimes together with other key users cross-function, if they are able to solve it, then it stops there, and we move on. And if our key users are not able to support, we go to the second line of support, which of course is EIP. And the key user logs a ticket, and we take it from there. And it has proven to be working really well in also such a short time frame.
Great. Thank you, guys. Let me add one point here to this discussion, because we were concentrating on providing a new online system, but at the same time there was a legacy system, Dynamics NAV 2015, which support actually was based on one pillar. That was an experienced key user who in fact quit during at the beginning of implementation to BC Online. And this was a challenge and a risk that we had to address together. And we decided to work in an outsourcing model where we made available one of our experienced consultants to actually augment all North Trampoline team and work hand in hand with them to mimic sort of the model that they had previously. So that's also one thing, that the legacy system was definitely not neglected, and we managed that challenge, I think, really successfully. Okay, so now moving on, because of course not everything is rosy in the implementations. We have also some lessons learned around the topics where we had particular challenges, or maybe things that could have been done differently. What about the short timeline, Patrick? From your perspective, what consequences this short timeline had?
Except for putting let's say a tremendous pressure on the organization, because a lot of people working in the project also had their operational day-to-day activities to take care of. So it took really careful planning. We really needed to plan a few weeks ahead, making sure that people were available, and also putting the let's say the project time when it was the most convenient. We also we carefully reviewed the testing, because we knew that even though we had a lot of test cases, we were not going to be able to complete them all, and also not as as numerous either for the test cases. So we really looked at that, and I think also the you really need to have your processes documented, and you need to know what you want to do. You need to know what you want to achieve. For us, it was also key that our management also said that this is also a key priority to standardize and harmonize. So it was not really about I want to have it like this or somebody else wanted to have another way. This is one way of doing it, and we're really trying to follow the standard processes also for Business Central. And if you then have a good business case for doing otherwise, let's say in the UK compared to Sweden, yes, then we would do it, but you would have to justify that. And I think that was the strong message from the management team was also key going forward.
All right. Thank you. Because from our perspective, this short timeline definitely led to what Karol described, the necessity to have two teams. So it obviously helped us to move quickly, but did it also backfire, Karol, in some way?
Yeah, that's correct. Let's say the short timeline and division into two teams help us to achieve the overall goal to go live in January. However, on the both sides, on EIP Dynamics and North Trampoline, there were different people involved with Sweden, Norway, Germany, and UK and US, which led us at the end to slightly different setups of the system. So that was, let's say, the consequences of the short timeline.
All right. And as with every complex project and ERP implementation is such, definitely. What special challenges did you face, Charlotte, in terms of change management?
Yeah, the two different teams that Karol talked about also had different backgrounds. One with the NIV 15 and the other team with an almost manually way of working. Now work in the same system supported way. And it was the team having NIV as a background leading the project. And with the other team in another country, not being able to travel due to COVID, we have had some misunderstandings during the way, which we're still dealing with. And that we could have handled better by including one or more from the other team in the project group earlier.
Yeah.
And also the remote way of working is not the same as face-to-face. It is working, we did it, it's possible, but it's not the same. It has its challenges.
Yeah, got it.
Yeah.
All right, so moving on, I would like now to Mateusz to take the stage. Mateusz is our experienced consultant with a strong technical background, having already several projects under his belts. But that was your first Business Central Online implementation, Mateusz. So what did you learn?
Yeah, so good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining our event. So I have a few points to share with you. First one is no problems or wasted time related to IT infrastructure. So it means no more problems with the lack of permission. We do not have to ask the IT department for any credential, access, servers. We have control over everything, and we start the project exactly when we want to start it, which is really important when the time is really, really short. Second one, it's very simple to deploy already created modifications to other localizations. When you implement Business Central in several databases at the same time, it's also important to have the same modification in each database. In Business Central, it is enough to produce the application once and install it or them in other databases. So launching the installation takes several seconds. So there is no more merging the objects on every databases, which is a really nice feature now. Another one, there is a management of environments and users. So Microsoft has created a very simple dashboard to manage installations. I mean servers or environments. So backups are created automatically. They are stored on Azure. This is managed globally by Microsoft, which relieves us or the IT department of the responsibility associated with it. So also access to Business Central is paired with Office 365 accounts. The Microsoft 365 accounts and the ecosystem helps to control user access to individual databases. We do not need remote desktop, installed application, or VPNs. And there is a better control from the programming side. So finally, it looks modern, has an updated IntelliSense, and because we are using Visual Studio, we have access to many add-ins which can help developers, of course, including Git. And next one, automatic updates require at least some attention. So Business Central Online is constantly being updated. Therefore, the customer and the partner must be prepared for the updates. This has its advantages, such as new functionality and improved security, but also requires some work to ensure that the update will not impact the business. And the last one, users who have been operating in desktop NAV application, as guys from Northumbria, still need time to get used to the web interface of Business Central. So remember that and book time for them just to switch from the desktop application to web client. So that was all. Thank you.
Thanks, Mateusz. All right, so I can imagine that having a modern ERP in place is just a step one. What would be step 2 and 3 and 4 in terms of your plans for the future, Charlotte?
Yeah, now we have the base set up and have been working in Business Central Online for a couple of months. And the plans are now to dig into other possibilities in Business Central to be able to work more efficient. And we want to automate processes. For example, now we have our order process. We open every single order, add salesperson code, and send it to the warehouse for that to go through the system automatically. That would save us a lot of time. And we also want to further align and harmonize processes across countries. For that, again, to work in the same way, a uniform way of working. And finally, we are focusing on the business-to-business processes and also how to improve those processes in the system as well. And all of this we have already started on, but we're in the beginning phase. So this is exciting.
Great. So of course we hope to be the part of that journey.
Yes.
And thanks for being very generous with your insights, with your feedback. Now let's try to summarize what has been said during this session. So first of all, what brought North Trampoline to Business Central Online was the lack of support for NAV 2015. But that is typical, I would say. This is just, just a consequence of a product life cycle. But they also had a very specific goal in mind. So they wanted standardized a system to help them harmonize their processes. They also wanted to have their modifications in check because they can sometimes grow out of control, and also take care of the master data. So this is what actually started this conversation. But I think that what will keep this conversation and what will keep them in the cloud are benefits of Business Central Online. They mentioned things like not being responsible for infrastructure management, not needing the VPNs, being always on the newest version of the system, which is actually updated twice a year. So Microsoft makes this huge commitment that twice a year they are making new features, new additions to the system available. That's of course great, but that poses some challenges for the partner because we need to manage those automatic upgrades carefully. This is not a lot of work, but it certainly means that we need to check, to test, the per tenant customizations that were introduced, the apps, the extensions that were used in North Trampoline database. And my personal favorite, or the point that I would like to follow up during the Q&A, is how North Trampoline made it possible to have the whole organization on board. Yes, because of course, with such big changes, we have some tensions from the team. We have some pushback, but they managed that brilliantly. And what is more, when we were confronted with the project timeline, that it will be 4 months of implementation or even less, we knew that we need our best, our brightest people, our fastest moving team. That's why Karol, that's why Mateusz and the other persons of the team were involved in this implementation. But what turned out is that North Trampoline was able to move at the same pace. That was really impressive, and we will follow up upon this. And the last but not least, the point that I have already made was that keeping the legacy system in check gave us like this solid foundation, the safety net to be able to really go quickly with Business Central Online upgrade. Okay, now just a little bit of information where to find us. North Trampoline, you can go to their Instagram, you can go to their LinkedIn profile or the website. They have amazing photos and products there. Just check them out. EIP Dynamics, this is our website page, Facebook page, sorry. This is our LinkedIn profile and our website. And as a reminder, you are here for more today, the live session, the continued document capture, and product details. These are the sessions that are going to follow. But now let's move to the Q&A. I've already seen that we have some nice questions in the chat. Thank you for providing those. But we will start with the topic that I have opened. So mostly to Charlotte and Patrick, how did you manage to have your teams on board? So you know that change that you managed it around change management, that you managed all the pushbacks, all the great additional work that these people had to manage. So how did you approach that?
We've been talking for a long time with the team using NIV 15 that Business Central Online is out there. It's better. It's more easier to work in. It's and show them small videos of the system and trying to find people in the company that are really positive to the system in every department, and for them to talk about the new system. And then when we had the time in the fall, we included everybody from the beginning to have a small session with them and to include everybody. And with the key users, we had it in the departments so that everybody was included. Yeah. Do you have some more for that, Patrick?
Yeah, I would say also that it was also a very strong message from the management team that this is a high priority project, and in order for us to move forward, going from 3 ERP systems to 1, that was a very strong message from the management team. And I would also say that it was also a strong belief within the project team. Both Charlotte and myself really send a message to EIP that yes, we want to do this and we want to go live, and it's actually a necessity that we should go live in January. So we said that well, there is no other options, and I think we also send that message to the team as well, that that really this is what we need to do and this is what we're going to accomplish. And I think that strong belief really paid off.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also a lot of standardization that we can help each other in different countries, different markets. We can help each other. We are not that vulnerable. That was a big motivation as well.
All right. Yeah, that was Patrick, a really strong message that we also received about the project timeline at the beginning of the project. Right.
Yeah.
So moving on, there were two questions about the analysis phase, because here we focus on the implementation time. Maybe Carol, could you explain what was done before the implementation? So the specific questions are how long analysis phase took.
Okay, so to give you the answer, first of all, I think we analysis started somewhere around May last year, which has been finished at the early September. However, we need to consider that there was a holiday break. It was even 1.5 months, I think. So in total, if we count it, gonna be 4 months. But if we get out the holiday period, it was around 2.5 months. Something worth to consider as well is that this particular analysis, we started with building the prototype of Business Central, which helped Charlotte, Patrick to touch and feel how the system looks like, what's the interface, etc., and help to take a decision to move on to Business Central Online.
Yes, exactly. That's the point I will be covering in the last section, the system prototype, which is our way of implementing Business Central Online, which helps us to get unbeatable time to market, but also to keep the customer very close to the standard of the system. That will be part of this discussion that we will have after 12.
Can I just add something? That at the same time we went through all our processes again, just to look them through and how we're doing those, so that the whole company knew how does the processes looks like, even in the country in UK where we did not have NIV. So we've been looking at that at the same time, which is really important if you're going to do this project in 4 months.
And we also had a working assumption that the standard functionality in Business Central should be our first choice. And if you need to do something else, you should really have a business case for doing that. And me being a finance guy, I mean, I knew that, well, what's there from a finance perspective and being standard is most likely good enough for us.
All right, great. Okay, good. One more question to North Trampoline. How long have you been using Dynamics NAV platform until you have decided to change to BC?
We have used NIV 15 since 2017. First for the finance team and then for operations. Yeah.
Okay, so that was around 4 years, let's say. Yes.
Yeah.
Just about enough to have some additional modifications and maybe data that could be cleaned up during the.
We had a lot to clean up. We yeah, that's also a good point to make. That's good to clean up and the master data before entering a new system.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there is one point which actually follows up upon this one. So have you migrated historical data?
No, not really. We left it in the legacy system, and it's in my experience also that it's a lot of work and a lot of hassle to really bring your historical data with you, because that also means that you need to bring the old master data with you, and you really would like to avoid, and you want to start with a clean, fresh system.
Yeah.
So for us, and we, I mean, it is really for customer service where we see that some historical data with old orders and stuff like that, when they need to go into the old system, where it would be beneficial to have the historical data with you into the new system. But it's according to me at least, it's really not a business case to bring the historical data with you.
Okay, that's clear. Maybe one to Mateusz about how many adjustments you made to Business Central versus the standard version. And how does it work with automatic BC updates?
Yeah, okay, so we are using few adjustments like modifications like Continia or Shopify connector, which are not ours. Yeah, and they are working just smoothly during the updates. Our modifications are also not causing any issues during the updates. Our developers use the, let's say, comments from Visual Studio, because Microsoft is putting the comments with, for example, something is gonna be not supported in the next year, for example. So our developers are not using these functions, which wouldn't be in the system in the future. So we haven't any problem in case of updates. We developed, I don't know, maybe it was like 10 integrations, 10 modifications in total, 10 huge modifications. It's hard to say because it depends what you call modification or adjustments. So we made many small adjustments, and we made less than 10 huge, not huge, but sufficient integrations for our customer North Trampoline. But there was no problem with updates so far.
Thanks, Mateusz. One more question that I'll try to answer. Do you have production environment for each country, or do you have all in one database? Yes, so everything is separate. So we have 5 production environments for Germany, Norway, Sweden, UK, and the US. So they are separate databases, separate production environments. Okay, so this connects nicely with the point. How do you make consolidation now? Is it something that maybe North Trampoline can take, or our team?
I mean, I can add to that that's phase 2 in the project, and we actually have a meeting with Mateusz tomorrow to further discuss the consolidation in the system, and for me that's a natural next step. We now do the consolidation in Excel and except for Power BI, but for group reporting, etc., we do use Excel, and we hope to be moving away from that shortly.
Okay, sure. So maybe one to North Trampoline again. Do you see any drawbacks of the online version? Because we focus here on some positive aspects. Are there any drawbacks of the online version?
Not really. I think that in the beginning, where you have 5 databases and you need to move in or log into 5 different places, that is felt a little bit, let's say, awkward in the beginning or a little bit time consuming, but you have them as favorites, so you get used to it quite quickly. So at least from my point of view, I don't really see any real drawbacks compared to how it used to be.
No,
Okay.
and we've been asking in the company as well, but we can't really find anything. So that's good.
So far so good. So far
Yeah.
so good. Happy to hear that. Carol, one point to you. So how is it possible actually to make a system upgrade remotely, so without truly face-to-face meetings, which seem, like a very, very important point, especially during the analysis or user training or testing?
Right. So first of all, we need to consider that to make it happen, both companies has to be prepared for that. And I need to say that in my view, whether it's North Trampoline or EIP Dynamics, we are both prepared. And even I think every one of us wish to meet each other, grab a coffee or have a lunch together. These days it was somehow impossible. However, I wouldn't invent wheel here, as these are the usual small steps, which for us is right now somehow not natural. However, getting the video call every time, share some thoughts about life and the environment you're in, as in this remote environment. It happens that today I'm in the office, tomorrow I'm at home, the other day I'm somewhere else. So getting as human that, oh guys, today's pretty noisy in my home as someone is drilling, make us human. So we need to remember that we are human, and even we cannot meet each other, we can try to build this relationship remotely. So that's important, and that's the situation. Both companies need to have, I would say, good management. That usually people, users, are following the managers. So if manager is turning on video and building up the relationship remotely, people are following. So everything starts with leaders, and it's doable and possible.
I would also like to add a comment. We used the chat function in Teams during testing, which actually I was used previously, that you sort of log tickets when you do your user acceptance testing, and then you had quite a lot of administration around just getting response on tickets. Here, by using the team chat, we were able to get basically within 30 seconds a response back from the consultant when you run into an error when testing. So I think that actually made the testing extremely efficient compared to what I have been used to. So for me, that was really also actually a key success factor, considering the short timeline.
Yeah, it was almost like sitting next to each other, just chatting and talking using the chat function.
Great. Thank you. Maybe the last one to North Trampoline, because I know that you need to move to another meeting at 11. There is one about documentation, mentioning that documentation during the project was minimized. When did you document everything? After the go live? Yeah, that's something that probably North Trampoline and Carol can comment on.
Everything is documented from April, I would say, in a shared document. So if everything is documented during the way, both from ERP, both from you guys and from us. Yeah, the whole way.
Okay, great. Guys, we can probably continue because we have several other questions. We can continue within our team, so feel free to join another meeting that you have. So yeah, thank you very much for your participation. Thank you for helping making this project a great success. We'll try to still cover 2 or 3 questions between Mateusz, Karol, and myself, and then in a couple of minutes I will be live with Business Central online. So thank you, Charlotte. Thank you, Patrick, for making it happen.
And thank you guys for inviting us.
Yeah,
so
thank
sorry
you.
that we cannot stay.
Our pleasure.
Right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. So we have a couple of more. By the way, we will share the questions together with answers after the session. So we'll be sending over the recording, the material, the slides, and the Q&A as a transcript. One interesting question is about involvement of local partners. So did you involve local partner for localization implementation? No, we did not. We managed to make this happen with North Trampoline. So of course, when we don't have a local partner, we need very strong key users from the customer. So in Sweden, Norway, Germany, UK, and the US, we managed to implement the system ourselves. Typically, because we are present in most of European countries, typically where we need help is with more complex localizations, which tend to be in Central Eastern Europe. Yes, in Northern Western Europe, we typically manage to pull off the project ourselves. Okay, one more to Mateusz. There was a question about Shopify connector. Will you move to Microsoft Shopify connector when Microsoft, when now Microsoft added it to standard last month?
Yeah, so it was pretty interesting because during the project, it happens that in Milan, Microsoft told us that they are going to implement Shopify connector, which was, well, surprising for us, but we haven't changed our plans because we had go live planned on January, and it was not on the schedule to use Microsoft Shopify connector. So this will be our goal in the near future, I guess. This is not a priority right now because the current integration works fine, and the functionality is exactly the same because we use the connector that has been acquired by Microsoft. So we have a few modifications that increase functionality, and probably we have to rewrite them if you want to switch to the Microsoft connector. So probably the main motivator would be a price because Microsoft Shopify connector is free for a customer. Yeah, I haven't tested the Microsoft Shopify connector yet. I would love to do that. And then maybe we're just gonna switch for that Business Central part. So not yet, but I think that that's something which is going to happen soon.
Okay, great. Okay, great, guys. Thank you, Mateusz. Thank you, Karol, for this part. There were some more questions, but not many that we didn't manage to answer within this time limit. But we will follow up with the material that we are going to send. So don't worry, your questions will be asked. You can also contact us directly if there is anything particularly interesting. We can now move to Business Central live demonstration. I will show you in a second the demo environment, and we'll go from there. Please remember that another points on our agenda are continuous document capture, presentation, and some slides also, and product details around Business Central Online. So thank you for the first part. We are now going smoothly to the live demo. Please let me share my screen with you. Okay, thanks, Karol. Thanks, Mateusz.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you. All right, good. So please confirm that you can still see my screen. Please use the chat functionality for that. Okay, I will wait for at least one comment. Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you very much. So let's get it started. We are going to have like a basic presentation of Business Central Online, which will include the user interface or key elements of the system. Yeah, we are starting with the role center accountant, which is pretty rich. Here you can see some navigation menus. Here you have list areas and other elements of the interface like activities or insights. We will actually now switch to Business Manager. I would like to show you how it's done. So in my settings, you can select one of more than 10 roles. Some of them focus on a specific activity like sales order processor, and some of them on an area like an accountant. We will use Business Manager because it will be pretty good for our demonstration purposes. By the way, just have a look how much time it takes. It's around 5 seconds to change the whole experience. So now we are in the Business Manager role center. So it's quite limited to what accountants have. Of course, all that can be personalized. We have Shopify element that has become a part of this wave of Business Central Online. And for people who are more used to like a full feature experience, you can click on the hamburger menu, and here we can see what business manager, what functionality is offered in a business manager role, and we can explore all the roles. So from here, we can see that Business Central can support your finance, sales, marketing, purchasing, manufacturing, service, and warehouse processes, as well as projects. Here I can say I can show you, because this is the filter that has been added recently, reports and analysis. Yeah, so this limits this view to only reports. And when we want to search for reports, this will display those green dots over here and over here, so that it's easy for you to search for reports. It's general reporting, jobs, reports. Okay. This is how it works. Okay, now switching to project manager role, because there are several elements that I would like to show you there. So again, we can count to 5, and it will change to a project manager. Yeah, on the main screen, we can also create some headlines. Some of them will be just for greetings, so like a fun feature, but nothing very, very useful. Some of them can be links. This one links directly to Business Central product. It can be linked, of course, to some learning materials, and we can, of course, have some calculations here. And we have shortcuts to actions that are useful from the perspective of the project manager. Okay, coming back to Business Manager. I will now talk about a little bit about activities, especially queues. So queues, these are like those green squares. We can assume that these are like containers or a visual representation of aggregated data. We have, for instance, sales quotes, ongoing sales orders, sales invoices, and more things. We can adjust that and help us notice when something is not okay, not as we would like to. So for instance, when we go to ongoing sales orders, now there is no personalization created here. So we can create a personalization. Let's assume that I would prefer if we have at least 5 ongoing sales orders, because it means that there can be quite a lot of sales incoming. So this is how I created that. Sorry, I haven't selected colors. Yes, so here are the thresholds, and I will need a color for the low range. I will call it unfavorable. It will be in the red. Here, let's say that it's favorable. Okay, so instantly I noticed that the sales, or that something is going on with sales orders. We have too few of them. If we want it the other way, it's very simple. So we can just change it here. Okay, now it will turn into favorable. And please notice that there is no save button in Business Central. Everything is saved on the go automatically, and also we can very easily disengage with this personalization. So now when I close it, okay, we don't have anything to notice on the sales orders. Now moving into insights, I would like to show you two reports. We have also other elements of insights like favorite accounts, trial balance, Power BI reports. It can be connected to Power BI and provide you some standard package of reports. But let's have a look at insights. Here, actually, we can have a look at aged accounts receivables. Okay, we have several invoices that are not overdue, but many of them that are overdue, including those that are 10 weeks overdue. We can drill down to see who's the culprit. Okay, so we have one invoice to School of Fine Art. This is our customer. Okay, we can deep dive with other elements of this report, and we can also engage in other reports. We can either scroll it like this or just select from the list. Here is a nice report of top 5 customers. It is presented in a pie chart where we can easily see that ADATUM and School of Fine Arts, these are our top customers with the biggest share of revenue. Okay, so now moving on, I would like to show you my personal favorite, which is search functionality. There's probably nothing too exciting about the search functionality, except that Microsoft made it a little bit exciting. This is officially called Tell Me, and it encourages you to tell what you have on mind and what you would like to what would you like to achieve. We can pull it up with a shortcut Alt and Q. It's working live. So you can put it like this, and immediately you will see purchase invoices. By the way, in order to get some meaningful results, you would need to at least type in 2 first letters. Yes, first 2 letters will not work, but very quickly some advanced users can pull up the features that they want to. By the way, this will search through pages, it will search through reports, it will search through actions, and it also helps you with what is called like a fuzzy search. Yes, so Business Central certainly has some lingo in it, so new users should not know that there is nothing like a product in Business Central. In Business Central, we have items, not products. But if we type in products, it will also search for synonyms. By the way, items is now bookmarked, and you can see it here on the list area. I can delete that bookmark. Yeah, it will disappear automatically, instantly, and I can bookmark it again. So the same goes for projects, which are obviously not projects but jobs. And if we have like a typo, if we make a typo, the system will also help us out. Okay, what is also useful is that when we go, let's say, to chart of accounts, we can also use this Tell Me feature, the search feature. Putting ledger here will show us what can be done on this page. So it will not only look through some pages and reports in the system, but it will also show you what can be done on that page, including some additional apps that can be installed through from an app source. Like, for instance, Advanced General Ledger for Italy. This sounds quite useful. Okay, but app source did not work. Let's try it one more time. Let's look at the ledger. Show it again. Okay, this time it worked. So now we are in Microsoft App Source, and we are seeing Advanced General Ledger for Italy. We can see some screens, read about the solution. So whenever we need something in the system and it's not there, we are even directed to Microsoft Store to search for it. Okay, what is also quite nice is that it will not only search through page names, but for instance, if you know that there is something like a company badge within Business Central, it will show you where it is. It's inside company information. And here we have some fast tabs. Company badge is one of them. It's just, this small feature which helps you identify in which environment, in which company you are currently. Okay, we need to refresh. So again, I think that it should be between 3 and 5 seconds. And we have this nice small icon, which will tell us which company is that and which environment is that. Okay, now let's have a deeper dive into my settings. I will check the time. Okay, I have still 15 minutes. We've already been here, so these are available roles. The company, this is the one that I have created for this webinar. It has some evaluational data so that it's not empty and it's more useful this way. Work date, it's typically today, but not always, as you can see. This is just a date used for transactions. It can be any date. You can move it around if you need to make a transaction not for today. Okay, region will dictate how dates, times, and currencies are shown. And language, we can show how robust this one is. So again, it will be like 4 or 5 seconds to change the language completely to Polish. Okay, now we are in Polish and coming back to English. Okay, but what is, I think, very useful from the perspective of fresh user is this help experience. First thing is that it's great that it's contextual. Yes, we are on the main page now, and have a look here. It reads about this task or page. We can go to Microsoft Docs, and it will show us contextually the article about your start with Business Central. When we move to, let's say, customers, just observe this one. Okay, we can go to Microsoft Docs, and this time it will show us an article about customers, register new customers. It has a video in it. Yes, like yeah, this one will also show you that there's a video inside. We can go also to items, and it changes as well. Create item cards again with a video. Why not? Okay, so it has a very rich help experience. Then when we want to look deeper, here is like a full help and support page. These two will direct us to where we have already been. We can also pull up the blog, which is pretty active. It has some content for IT professionals and business decision makers. 3 articles in June. We can also see what's coming soon to the system. So this is a release wave that is currently active, the one between April and September 2022. We can look into the PDF document, which it has more than 600 pages. It's obviously not only for Business Central, but the whole business application suite. So Business Central is part of it, but it's impressive that Microsoft is creating enough stuff to write 600 pages every 6 months about it. So that's a huge investment and commitment. Okay, here we can also request a partner contact, because if you are using some trial version, it might be useful that you can contact a partner directly from here. What Microsoft is especially proud of, these are Business Central ideas. So this is a portal where you can submit your ideas, and as you can see, we have hundreds of them, the most in the general tab, almost 1,200. Microsoft is saying that their product team is starting each Monday with reviewing these ideas. So here in the top section, we have more than 400 upvotes for this idea. We have some of them which are under review and some of them which are already completed. Yes, like more or less 50-50. And this is where they really look and take inspiration. So you can submit your ideas here. For troubleshooting, you can view the last known error but there hasn't been one since I started this session, so it will show empty. And this is more technical, but we can inspect a page. We are now on page item list. It is pulling data from table item. It's number 27, and these are the table fields that are visible on that page. Yeah, so it's more useful from the perspective of consultants, some technical guys, or key users. Okay, now maybe let's have a look at tours. Tours, these are experiences for new users. I've been already playing a little bit with this one, so it will not show me a tour automatically, but I need to click here in order to revert back to that tour. So about the chart of accounts, it will show me when I click take a tour, it will show me 4 places what I need to know about this view, this page. Behind the numbers, it will show me the structure of accounts. It will encourage me to get a financial overview with some reports. And if I click on it, but resign and don't create a report, I will be still in my tour experience. Then it will show me where to build some filters. Yes, so it's especially useful for new users. If you would like to generate like a bigger experience around onboarding, around tours, it will require some programming. Yes, so enhancing that involves certainly some technical work. Okay. And now I would like to show you like 3 main elements of the system, which are list page, cart page, and document page. We will start with a list page. I will go to customers. Okay, they are now presented in a list. I can alternate between tiles. They will look very nice if we have some pictures inside, but I will revert back to a list. If I would like to have some more contextual data, I can bring a fact box here to the right. Okay, for now I don't need that. I wanted to show you how personalization works across this list page. So we pull it up from here, and in personalization we can, for instance, add some fields. Let's add the credit limit. Let's see, what is it? Okay, they don't have a credit limit. And maybe what's the salesperson involved? Okay, this is Joe. But now I don't actually need this one or this one or this one because they are not presenting any data. So I will stick to this. I will stick to this view. This will give me a little bit of more room for the fact box, and this is how it's going to look for me. This is my personalization. I can easily get rid of that, so I can clear the personalization. Actually, all of them. Yeah, I will not be able to undo that, so I need to decide carefully. Okay, and we are coming back to the previous view. Now moving on to the cart page, I will use items to show you that. Okay, and again, this is a list. For the items, it will make a lot of sense to look at them this way. And to the right, we have again the fact box. And the very nice thing is that when I click here, I can then get rid of my mouse and use a keyboard and just jump between the items and see in the fact box the changing data, like the unit price, last direct cost, which is calculated for some of them, the profit margin. So this will be a very easy and nice way of looking at this data. Now coming back to a list, we will go into the cart for Aiton's desk for this item. Here we have fast stops. all of them are collapsed because I prepared them this way, but we can of course look deeper. Let's have a look at inventory. That will be what is presented as a default. We can show more elements, and we can of course personalize it as well. So when I personalize it, I would like to have net weight. Maybe I will show less. Okay, so here we don't have net weight. Maybe sometimes it will be useful. So I will show net weight. I will show it always. So when I now show less, okay, net weight appears here. Great, that's what I intended. And this one, quantity on purchase order. Okay, so how many of them are coming? I would like to have it shown when collapsed. Okay, done. And now I'm collapsing that, and from this view, I can see that first of all, I have 4 in inventory, Ethan's desk, and I have 7 the quantity on the purchase order. So I have a total of 11. This is something to remember. It will come handy in a moment. Okay, good. So this is how it works. I can get rid of that personalization, but I don't need to now. Let's have a look now at some sales orders. So we are coming back. Okay, so we are now in sales orders. So now I'll be showing the document page. Let's select the first one, just to show you that it's very easy to switch between them. Okay, so we have 4 sales orders. One of those was with 3 items. So let's have a look at this one. Again, you have some you have fast tabs here. Have general information. You have lines on this sales order, invoice details, and again, you can show more, you can show less. You will see some information when it's collapsed, but here on the document card, what I would like to focus on is the focus mode. So we can click into the focus mode, and now we don't see all the fast tabs. We only see the lines. That's very useful, especially when you need to edit like a very long list of items. Okay, I would like to add an item. It will be the Ethan's desk that we had a look previously. Okay. Maybe you remember that we had 4 in the inventory and 7 coming on the purchase order. So that's a total of 11. Let's try to put 12 here. Okay, it will not allow me to do so because the available inventory, and it's counting inventory and purchase order, is lower than that. But if I check 11, okay, I'm not getting that error anymore. So I can really sell 11 of them because I have enough. All right, it will of course save, and now when I'm coming back to this document, Ethan's desks, 11 of them will be there. Okay, good. That will be it when it comes to the first few steps in Business Central Online, getting familiar with the interface, with search, with personalization, with my settings, with help. I hope it will be useful for those of you who are starting or will soon be starting their journey with Business Central Online. And now, okay, we have exactly 1 minute until we start the Continua part. By the way, after the last session, there will be additional Q&A. So if you have any questions about Business Central, please let me know. Okay, so now moving on to Continua document capture. Just let me check if we have Martijn with us.
I'm here, Rafael, but under another name.
You're under another name. Okay, I can see that.
My laptop just crashed just before this meeting, so but I made it. I'm sorry.
Okay, don't worry. As long as we can have, you know, the material, everything is fine.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay,
Shall I
great,
begin?
guys. Yeah, so just a small intro. So now we're going to have a session about Continua Document Capture, which, as I said, is our favorite add-on to Business Central. Now I think around 50% of the projects that new projects that we do will include Continua Document Capture. This is an OCR and workflow solution, and you will be able to hear more about it from Martijn. Martijn is a partner manager at Continua. He's also our dear colleague. So Martijn, the floor is yours. Please tell the crowd about the product, and also if you could show us around the system demo.
Absolutely. Thank you for the kind introduction. Good morning, everybody. Like Rafael said, my name is Martin. I work for Continua, and they kindly give me like 25-30 minutes to show you some of our products. I was first thinking about showing you a PowerPoint to show you what products we have, but I actually want to do something more fun and show you the real live demo. It will be a bit faster than normal, but you should be giving a good idea of what the software can do for you. Please remember, always you can have like a demo afterwards. Just contact Rafael or your contact at EIP, and we'll get a personalized demo for you and your company set up one-on-one, and we'll give you all the time that you need. Questions. If you got questions, can you please ask them in the chat? Rafael will monitor them, and he will ask them to me at the end of the presentation. And if we do not have any more time, then we will follow up via email. For now, I'm gonna start sharing my screen. Let me see if you, maybe Rafael, you can tell me if you can see my screen.
Yes, I can confirm that.
Thank you. So at Continua, we sell 3 products. One is called Document Capture. That is the biggest one, and that's the one I'm going to show you today. It's our solution for scanning, registering, and archiving of your invoices and credit notes. We also have a product called Expense Management, which allows you to submit expenses, mileage claims, and more from your mobile phone into your NAV and Business Central. And we have what is called Document Output. With Document Output, we can send out documents batch-wise from NAV and Business Central. So with one press of a button, 100 invoices, sales orders, quotes, remittance advices, statements will be sent to your customers. If you want to see those products, please let us know, or then we'll get a demo for you. Today, I'm going to show you Document Capture. Again, our solution for scanning, registering, and archiving of your invoices and credit notes. It will be fully integrated into your NAV or Business Central. In my demo today, I will show it to you in Business Central, but the software works from NAV 3.7 up to the latest version of Business Central. I think it's 20 or 21. I don't keep count anymore. But important to know, the functionality is the same in every version. So if you're having NAV now, there's not one functionality different than what you'll be seeing. Now, so what happens? We can select a role center. We can see that over here. And there we can see a couple of things. On the left-hand side, we can see documents, and you can see there are 2 ways how they can come in. One is via the post. You put them on the scanner, you press the button, and they'll be sent to Business Central. The second method is via email. Invoices at your company name.com, for example. You ask the vendors to send the invoices to that email address. Document Capture monitors it and downloads them straight into Business Central for you without you having to do anything. This goes completely automatic. We also have a separate module for XML invoices. We do not see it a lot yet, but some companies do get them, and we are able to process them via the email. And also to know we're a Peppol vendor, so if your customers are on the Peppol network, you will be able to receive them directly. That's the information on the first 4 tabs over here. Next to that, we will see purchase approval. With Document Capture, we can, of course, approve invoices, and in the role center, an approver can see how many documents he or she has to approve. And the same goes for credit notes here on the right-hand side. I'll come to this approval process later on in my demo, so if you get questions, please hold them for now. I first want to show you how do we actually process the invoices. So while my laptop crashed, I quickly sent some invoices via my colleague's laptop to our demo machine. I can put like 10 invoices into one email, you press send, and then about 10 seconds later, you see them coming in over here in Business Central automatically. Once they are in, they go into the document journal, and the document journal is the place where the finance team will process the invoices from now on. What can you see in front of you? You can see the original invoice. You can scroll through it. You can zoom in, zoom out. And if it has multiple pages, you can scroll through multiple pages. On the top left, we got your to-do list. In the middle, there will be a template with data. And down below, there will be comments. So how does our software work? We're going to create a template per vendor. And on that template, you're going to tell the system, how do you want this invoice to be processed? We can basically process any type of invoice that you might receive. Think of a simple cost invoice, but we can also match against purchase orders, capture multiple lines of invoices, freight charges, discounts, multiple languages, multiple currencies. It's not a problem. We can process it all. Also today, I opened up an English demo machine because a lot of you are international clients from EIP, but we're a European country and some of the languages that are Polish, German, French, Dutch, Spanish, English, Danish, Swedish, Norwegian. We have a lot of languages the software translated in Portuguese, but our software can read almost every language that there is. So if you get weird invoices, or weird's maybe the same word, foreign invoices, don't worry, we can process them. Now, what I want to do, I want to start off with a very simple cost invoice first, and then I'll show you some more difficult ones. Before I'm going to do that, you can see that document capture recognized the vendors. How did it do that? When it gets imported, the system starts scanning the document. It found a VAT number, and then it found a match on the vendor card, First Up Consultants. If there's no VAT number to be found, the system asks for looks for company name, address, postal code, contact person, all to identify the correct vendor for you. Now, the nice thing is that, let's say document capture could not find the vendor the first time. That happens. Maybe it's a new vendor. Then you can open up your vendor list like you're used to, and you can select the correct one. I know my list is very short, but you recognize the vendor list from within Business Central or NAV. Now I want to process these invoices. I'm going to start pressing the button Recognize Fields. The system will think for a second, and then we'll see a couple of things happening. On the right-hand side, we see orange and blue bars appearing. In the middle, a template with data, and down below, we see comments. So how does our software work? If you look here in the middle, in the left column field, this is where the master template lies that you get with document capture. And this master template contains the most common fields that can be found on invoice, like invoice number, invoice date, order number, currency code, amounts. However, you can fully adjust this to your liking as a company. You can add, for example, your dimensions. You can add a field that checks the bank account on the invoice or the bank account set up on the vendor card. If you get bespoke fields created with EIP, you can also add those. This is not a problem. You can do this. In the second column, value, you can see the document capture tries to fill in as much as it can for you. However, the first time you check the system, because sometimes it makes a mistake, and you need to correct that system. So if I select the invoice number, you can see it gets highlighted on the right-hand side of the screen. It always jumps to the page where it found it, whether that's on page number 1, 2, or 3, that doesn't matter. So you can immediately see what the system did. We can then see an orange bar and the blue bar. The orange bar is like the header the system is looking for, and the blue bar is the value that the system found. And that's how it will search for everything. We got the dates. It validates your due dates with your payment terms. If they do not match, you will get a warning message like the one over here. But you can also, for document capture, say to always honor your payment terms, because your Business Central is leading, of course. We got a contact person, no order number in my first example. We got the currency code, which is left blank because it's a local currency within Business Central. But should you receive an invoice in a foreign currency, we can process that. We get all the amounts, and it validates all the amounts. We can handle multiple VAT amounts on one invoice, no VAT, reverse VAT, low VAT, high VAT, no problem. Because this is a cost invoice, the system asks for a general ledger account. Again, I can open up your general ledger account list like you're used to. I can scroll through it, or I can type it in. That's whatever I prefer. I select one, and then the system asks me, do you want to set this up as a default for this vendor? If I press yes, it will not ask about it again. If I press no, I will fill it in again the next time. For now, I'll press yes, and then also the red warning disappeared. The post description, I can type something in manually, combine fields from the template, the PDF file. You are in full control. In my demo, I want to show you how to capture this text of the invoice. Very simple, left-hand mouse button, right-hand mouse button. And now document capture knows how you want the text to be captured off an invoice. It's that simple. The last field, invoice/credit memo. Document capture automatically recognizes if this document is an invoice or a credit memo. Double invoices will be blocked here. They will not go into your system. And yeah, now we've finished setting up the first template. I can do this in 30 seconds. After a couple of days of training from EIP and Rafael, Jakub, and everybody, you'll be able to do this as well. I will register it now, then it becomes a registered invoice within Business Central. And a lot of you will know this screen. This is the screen where you type in the invoices manually, and now you get to see the original invoice on the right-hand side as well. I'll send it for approval, and it will be gone. Okay, so I got another one from First Up Consultants. If I press recognize fields, now you can see it captured everything. All the invoice numbers, the dates, all the amounts. It remembered the general ledger account, got the post and description. So yeah, now you can see your workload got a little bit less. And let's say your vendor sent a duplicate invoice, it will immediately block it saying it already exists. So they will not go into your system. Of course, you can always overrule it, right? I will refresh and register. Now, this was a very simple cost invoice. We can also do more difficult things. For example, we can match purchase invoices to purchase orders in your system. And we can do that in 3 different ways. One, we can match on a total amount level. Document capture will check, okay, the order is 1,000 euros. The invoice is 1,000 euros. It will match and then it will go through. The only downside is that you do not know if you ordered a Lenovo laptop or a Dell laptop. It just purely looks at the amount. That's why we've invented method number 2. Method number 2 allows you to do line level matching. So the system can check, did you receive 20 lamps for 25 euros, 5 whiteboards for 700 euros, and 20 desks for 500 euros. This will make your match very accurate, but it will also allow you to do partial matching, multiple orders on one invoice matching, tolerances per supplier, set up the automatic approval. A lot of functionalities added because of the line level matching. We can also match manually. Why do you want that? Well, preferably not, of course, but in real life it happens sometimes. And for example, let's say a vendor forgets to put up an order number. The system is not going to guess for you, so you need to do that. I'm going to show you. I'm going to press recognize fields. I know because of time, everything is okay. So normally this would have matched automatically, but I switched it off. If I go to match lines, and this is a screen that we created, go away. Then we see the original invoice on the right-hand side. We can see it found the order within Business Central. And if I now press form automatic match, in my demo, it matches 100%. As you can see, there is 0 difference. You can also see that over here. If there's a difference normally, that will be shown over here. The line will not become bold and it will become red, so that the finance team can immediately see, we didn't receive all of our desks, for example. Now, like I said before, we can do partial matching, multiple orders on one invoice, tolerances per supplier, skip the approval. There's a lot of functionality within this matching tool. I cannot show this to you in 5 minutes, but like I said before, if you want a personalized demo, we'll get that arranged for you. What I can tell you is that the system will tell the finance team what it did. In this case, it will say it's fully matched with purchase receipt, which is great, but it can also say it's partially matched. Its multiple orders are matched. It's not matched because our tolerance was exceeded, not matched because the goods are not received yet. So to really tell you what it did. Now I will register it, and then I'll send it for approval. The last invoice that I want to show you is an invoice with multiple lines. Document capture is very good at capturing lines, and it doesn't matter if there are 3, like in this example, 50 or 100. It will just continue on until it doesn't find them anymore. Let me show you how. I'm going to press recognize fields. And this is actually a good one. I know document capture made a mistake here. If I select the invoice number, you can see it accidentally captured the invoice date. So to correct that, left-hand mouse button, right-hand mouse button, and now it will not make that mistake again. The rest of this information is okay, so let me show you how to capture these lines, because this is pretty cool. I go into the document card, and in document card we got a tab called lines, with columns like item number, description, quantity, units, cost, and more. I'm going to stand in here and I'm going to say the item number can be found over here. The description, you can find that over here. we got a quantity, we have a unit cost, there's no discount percentage, discount amount, but we do have a line amount, which can be found over here. And if I now press recognize fields, without having to type anything, it captures every line that it can find. We do this a lot in the retail business as well, and they do invoice with 500, 600, 700 lines. No problem, we can capture that for you. And what we can do now, assuming that there's no purchase order to this invoice, you can code it the way you want it to be. So you can say the chair, London chair, goes to general ledger account 31400, and the Paris chair goes to 31500. Besides general ledger accounts, you can also do like item numbers, resources, fixed asset, charge items. Yeah, you can fully code it the way you want it to be. And the system will also be able to remember this for you. So the next time you order a mouse pad or a chair, it knows the translation that we made. Now, I'm going to register this one. And then you can see now instead of one line, we get 3 lines. Perfect. Now, this is what I wanted to show you today about template making. Template making is not difficult, but it is the most important part, especially in the beginning of the setup. EIP will help you with this. And the nice thing is you can do this in your test environment. Then you can move everything from test to live. So you do not have to do it twice. You can also, if you got multiple companies within your database, the system can copy the templates automatically for you. So you do not have to do this, all to make your life easy as possible. Now we come to the approval part. We can approve in 2 different places, one within NAV or Business Central itself, and 2 within our optional web approval portal. The web approval portal allows you to approve on your iPad, on your iPhone, anywhere in the world, as long as you have an internet connection. And you have the possibility to approve with a team member license from Microsoft, which is the small variant or the cheap variant of the full user license. How can we approve? We can approve in multiple ways. One is approval based on a user and a limit. So for example, I can approve up to 1,000 euros within your company. If it's below 1,000 euros, I'm the only approver. If it exceeds 1,000 euros, then it will first go to me and then to the person who's my supervisor, mainly Raphael in this case. Raphael can approve up to 10,000 euros. If it exceeds his level, then it will go to his boss, etc. Right? You can build multiple layers. That's what I wanted to say. Method number 2 is approval based on vendor. So we can say vendor number 1 will be done by Raphael and me together. Vendor number 2 by Raphael alone. And you can combine these 2 methods. The third method is via dimensions. So you can say if it sees, I don't know, let's say a cost center is a dimension. If it sees cost center A, it will go to that person. If it sees cost center B, it will go to another person. Now, I will approve show you the 2 places today. I will first open up the web approval portal. I believe it will open up automatically now. Yeah. So approvers will get an email notification that they have something to approve, and then it will they can click on a link and it will open up the web portal like I'm doing right now, or it will open up Business Central or NAV. And you can send that email as many times as you want, like once per day, once every 2 days, whatever you prefer. Now, this is the web approval portal in front of you. You can see the invoices that you need to approve. But before I'm going to do that, at the top, we can look up in the archive, what did I approve last week? If you have multiple companies within your database, you can switch between them over here. And on the top right, if you got, if you're on holiday, you can set up an out of office, and then the invoices will be forwarded to somebody else within the organization. Now, I'm going to stand in here. I'm going to click on it. And here we can see the original invoice. We can add comments, as we can see. I can maybe do that right now. This is okay, for example. And important to know that the whole approval flow, including the comments, will be logged from beginning to end so that you, but also the accountants later on can have a look at it. We can see some details of the invoice, the flow that it will take through your organization, and the invoice lines. And you can also give people permissions to make changes to the lines. You are in full control. Then on the top left, we can approve. We can reject with a reason. Otherwise, the finance team doesn't know what's going on. We can forward it in multiple ways. and we can put it on hold if there's a problem. Let's say you're waiting for a credit note. And the nice thing is that the accounts payable team has a full list within Business Central where all the invoices are. And they can then also see if it's put on hold by Rafael because of a credit note. They can immediately answer the person on the telephone. I'll approve, and then automatically goes to the next one to speed things up. I will approve them all right now to be a little bit more quick. Like this and like this. Normally you would take more time, but because of time, I will do it quickly. So this is in a nutshell what the web approval portal can do for you. If you open this on your telephone, it looks like an app. So it's very simple and easy. Within Business Central, the approval is 100% the same, only it looks like Business Central. You can open up your list. Let me see, and I press edit. You get to see, of course, the original invoice on the right-hand side. We can see the comments over here, who approved it. And then at the top left, we can approve, reject with a reason, forward, put it on hold, and you can add comments. And if you approve, it automatically goes to the next one here as well to speed things up for you. So functionality-wise, the rest is the same as with the web portal. Now the invoices come to their final stage, the release bin, and release invoices can be posted. We can do that one by one in a batch, or we can automate it via job queue. So we can say every day at 6 o'clock, all the invoices which date is released will be posted. Now I'm going to post them, and after the posting process, our system will stop. It will continue on with the process that you have set up with EIP and your finance team. I assume it will go to your banking module, and then you will pay the vendor once you're ready to do so. So now that we've done this whole routine, everything is done. So a quick recap. Let's say you're using document capture, then we can automatically import the documents that you get via your email, for example. At that moment, the template is put on top of it that you've created. It will treat it as a cost invoice. It will match. If everything is well, it will be sent to the approvers automatically. They will receive an email that they need to approve. They will hopefully do this fast. And then it will come back to the finance team. They will have a final check and they can post either manually or automatically. And this will save them a lot of time. Now, the last 2-3 minutes, how do we find documents back? One is document search. Basically, every invoice that is scanned with document capture is fully text searchable. So you remembered you bought a chair last year, but you do not know where. You type in the word chair, and it will find every invoice with the word chair on top of it. And then you can press view file. And then it will show you the invoice. And you can search for any invoice that is on, for any word that is on this invoice. It doesn't have to be one of those orange and blue boxes. So very inconvenient also if a vendor or an accountant asks you, I want to see these 10 invoices, poof, and you get them over here. We can also find the invoice via the vendor card, the posted document, the general ledger account. I can maybe give an example of that. Charts, accounts, there it is. Then let me search for it. I think it's 314. Yes, we can see the balance over here. And then if I click on an invoice, I can immediately show PDF file, and it will open up the file for me like this. So finding back documents will become really, really easy for you. Now, you just witnessed one of the most quickest demos I've ever done for document capture within 20 minutes. We can do a lot more, promise you. And like I said, I would rather do this in a one-to-one demo with you and your colleagues. Please contact AIP for this. For you, the background, this product was released in 2013 and since then became one of the biggest add-ons for Dynamics NAV and Business Central. We now have more than 15,000 customers working with this software, and the number is still growing a lot, which is nice. And that is mostly because we're fully integrated into your system. So it's for EIP, easy to install and to manage. For you, the training is short because you know NAV and Business Central already. We can do a lot more than a competitor, and we're also a bit cheaper, which is nice. But no, I'll leave it like that. We have a lot of good reasons why it's the best software, but I hope you believe me. What is also important to know, EIP is one of our biggest partners in Poland. They've resold this many times, and so you'll not be a guinea pig, which is nice to know in software land, I would say. Rafael, did we receive any questions?
Yes, we did. Thank you,
Okay.
thank you, Martijn. That was that was a really speed run, but also very
Yes.
informative and educational.
Okay.
Yeah, we have some questions. Like I will start with the one about can approval be done by lines based on dimensions, for example?
Based on dimensions, yes. And then if it sees a dimension on line number 1, it will go to that person. If it sees dimension number 2 on another line, it will go to another person. Yes.
Okay, great. Then if approval is planned only through web approval portal, are limited licenses still needed for approvers?
Yes, we do touch Microsoft data. So a limited user on Nav or a team member license on Business Central is needed.
Yes, exactly. That's what I can confirm also from our perspective, from the partner. And there was a question to the screen when you were showing the invoice to the right and like template making to the left. Can you move a middle bar to make invoice bigger instead of just clicking on the button on the document?
For now, the answer is no, but it also depends on your laptop, to be honest. I'm on my laptop now, but when I'm at my desk, I have a big monitor, then everything is a lot bigger. But Microsoft does not allow us to move the containers within the page. I know they are planning to do this, and then we can, but for now, the answer is no.
Okay.
If you're on Nav, it is possible.
Okay, thanks. We will wait a minute or two for more questions. Maybe I will ask one.
Sure.
From the perspective of template making, what do you think is like the sweet spot when Continia document capture will really be useful from the perspective of investing time in template making versus saving time on automatic field recognition? So how many invoices per month do we need to get from a specific vendor?
So the number of invoices doesn't have to be that high. We work with very small companies and with huge companies. That doesn't really matter. What we always say, look in the training, look at your top 20% of the vendors that account for like 80% of your invoices. Make sure you create those with you, Rafael, in the training, and then you have a quick go live, and then make the rest on the go. So we want to go live as soon as possible, so you reap the benefits immediately. The number of documents with NAV, if you're an NAV, I would say it's around, around 150 invoices a month, 100 plus minus. If you're on Business Central, we now also have very small companies that have as little as 25 invoices per month. So it varies, but because of the time savings, you have a physical archive. You the papers will not get lost again. Finding them back will become really easy. So there's a lot of benefits.
Okay, thank you. Do we have any other questions? Because if no, then Martijn will have an easy time catching his plane, right?
Correct. Well, actually, the plane got canceled, so we're driving. I'm now in Germany.
All right. Sorry to hear that.
No, it's no problem. Thank you for letting me do this presentation, Rafael and the team. I hope everybody liked it. I hope you find the rest of the day also as interesting as I found it this morning as well. And hopefully we meet each other again in the near future.
Okay, great. Thanks for putting the time and effort. It was very nice. And as you already explained, we're open to some one-on-one demonstrations to those of you who find the solution useful. Thank
Absolutely.
you so much.
Thank you. Have a nice day, all of you. See you soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye. Right. So I think that we are in for the last part. The product details and what to consider when migrating to Business Central Online. So that would be in part summary, in part fresh content. So this last 30 minutes ahead of us. Thank you, by the way, for being so active and generous with your questions, with your time. We have still many participants with us, like same number that started. So I'm very happy. I'm very happy about it. So let's dive into Business Central Online as a product. Okay, good. This part you might already know, because Business Central Online is everything that you can reasonably expect from a modern ERP system. So it will offer you this integrated view into your business, starting with financial management, sales, service management, supply chain management, operations management, including manufacturing, also project management. Then on top of that, you will have reporting and analysis. Yeah, but that's a given, let's say. Yes, that is something that you would expect anyway. I like to say that Business Central is actually Dynamics NAV for the new world, for a couple of reasons that I will try to explain in the next 10-15 minutes. First important thing is that Business Central is not a completely new product. Yes, it's a new iteration, I would call it, of Dynamics NAV, but it's built upon Dynamics NAV legacy in terms of functionality, especially. But it offers a lot more, starting with new technology and marketplace. These are the two things that we'll have a look into in a moment. So what we have achieved with Business Central, thanks to Microsoft, who provided that technology, is that we are abandoning this customized code. So, like with Dynamics NAV, you had this big monolithical applications where we needed to merge code in order to add additional functionality. So no merging anymore. It sounded horrible, and it also was not that great, especially during upgrades. So now the architecture has changed to a base application, which is delivered by Microsoft, and around it we are delivering apps as per tenant customizations. We can also have some apps from the app source. These are the ones for a Polish market that we typically implement. And what happens when Microsoft changes the base application, which happens twice a year, as was already explained. If we have some core model prepared as an extension, we will republish that. We will also republish additional features, extensions, after, of course, having tested them against the new base application. And we will also publish applications from the store. So everything can be tested also through automated tests, because we as partners get access to the new environment several weeks before it goes live, so we can test it on sandbox environments and make sure that everything works properly, as was already explained during Nord Trampoline. Yeah, with Nord Trampoline, we are after one automatic upgrade. Everything worked well. Yeah, but this is our biggest BC Online implementation so far. Okay, when it comes to the marketplace and ecosystem itself, and now BC Online, actually the last quoted number from Microsoft was more than 20,000 customers. I'm sure it's a lot more than that because it was quoted last year. There are more than 5,000 partners dealing with BC Online worldwide. So this is a truly partner-led product. So if you select Business Central Online, you will not fall into trouble of a vendor lock-in, because you can switch to another partner pretty easily. And then there are more than 2,300 applications for Business Central available on app stores. Continia is of course one of them, but there are certainly more. A fun fact is that when you look at the app source, at Microsoft App Source, and go to the Dynamics 365 for sales, you go to MS Teams, you go to Outlook, SharePoint, finance supply chain management. Business Central turns out to be the biggest application in terms of the extensions that are created by partners. Yes, there's so this community is very strong. It's very prolific in creating new features, new functionalities. Okay, there is revamped interface. You have already seen that, so I will not go into a lot of details here. The only point is that it's a fair assumption that if you are moving from Dynamics NAV, from the first look would be that, okay, this is a completely different experience. This is a completely different interface, and that would be correct. But going deeper, as I showed you some cards, item cards, lists, these views are very similar to what was offered within Dynamics NAV. And the system is, of course, available across many devices. I think all the devices that you would like to have your ERP working on, including tablets, including mobile phones, and there is a web app for the computers. There is no installed client. So no more installed client here, which would be a plus from, let's say, a perspective of iOS users who had a hard time, using the installed client or could have a hard time using the installed client in the past. Okay, so of course with Business Central there is only a version available. It's been for 3 years like that, so this technology is pretty mature, and this is a truly international system. So in the green you can see localizations created, added by Microsoft. Dark blue, these are localizations added by partners. And light blue, these are the new additions, yeah, so the ones that are rolling out in this wave, so the wave from April until September 2022. So whatever is your starting point, let's say the US or the UK or Poland or any part of Europe, and you would like to grow your organization, it probably means that Business Central is already there. And as a matter of fact, we as EIP Dynamics will most probably be there as well, because we serve in more than 30 countries. Okay, one more. There is like a very clear roadmap and ongoing investment from Microsoft. So that is maybe the part that was a bit lacking in Dynamics NAV. Just having a look at new features that are being added, or maybe new elements that are being added every half year. This is a very long list. This is tens of them, close to 100. In the last wave that is now rolling out, there's 90 of them. That will include not only features, but also the platform, the security, the performance, integrations with other Microsoft products, and not only also with Shopify, as was already mentioned during this event. So this is really a lot, and it's very clear that Microsoft is making a huge commitment here, which is going to last into the future. Okay, so one more. Of course, Business Central will offer unbeatable integration with Microsoft technology, starting with Outlook at Microsoft Teams, where from the perspective of Outlook client, you can perform simple features within the system, like create an order, add a customer, or view the customer balance from within the Outlook client. Microsoft Teams is equally great, because even if a person doesn't have a license to Business Central Online, we can send them a link and they will have a Business Central page displayed, so they can have a look into some elements of the system, into the data. Office, of course, what excites people the most is pretty basic thing, but even if it's basic, but it works great, it will bring a lot of value. I'm talking here about integration with Excel, where in Business Central Online we no longer need to export and import data, but rather we open some data set in Excel Online, then edit it, then republish it into Business Central Online, and that works beautifully. Power BI, yeah, so for those of you interested, we can deep dive here because you have seen during my demo that there is a space where we can have our Power BI, some predefined Power BI reports available. We, of course, can create some bespoke reports. Actually, Mateusz, the consultant that you met, is part of a team that knows their way around Power BI. We also had some previous recordings of Power BI's webinars with our customers as well. So that could be quite useful. Yeah, there's of course a possibility to use integration with Power Apps like a low-code platform and SharePoint, which will work as a document repository. Okay, and last but not least, this is something that I'm particularly excited about because I appreciate that online systems need to offer a very extensive self-study opportunities. Yes, there will be users who would like to know their way around their system or work out their way around the system on their own. So they have plenty of material with Business Central, starting with Microsoft Docs. I've opened it up several times during my demo. When you PDF everything, you will receive more than 3,000 pages of manuals. Then you have e-learning platform on Microsoft Learn, more than 200 modules, each of them like an hour or 2 hours long. So for those of you who prefer like more interactive experience, that would be great. There are also some instructional videos, very short ones, focused on a specific functionality on an official YouTube channel. And many of those, as you could have seen, are available through the system itself. That's really great. That's really amazing because we can get contextual help whenever we need it. Okay, and one addition to that is onboarding. You also could see that during the demo. There were checklists, okay, that I didn't demo, but we can set up the platform so that it shows the users first several tasks that they need to do in the system, first several steps, and tours. These are like combinations of different tips that you are receiving in a certain page in the system. That's what we saw as well. Okay, so now moving on to some key considerations, I mix it a little bit with benefits. So what I would say are or should be key considerations before you are moving to Business Central Online, or as a matter of fact, any modern ERP system, is first of all, what is your upgrade motivation? You heard the story from North Trampoline that they first of all observed and appreciated the fact that okay, there's support lifecycle ending for Dynamics NAV 2015, which they've been working on. That was the primary motivation, but then at the same time they have found some additional goals, some great goals really, like process harmonization, keeping their data and modifications in check, and that proved a really useful business case for this project that we have implemented together. As a matter of fact, this is something that we haven't shared today, but we tried to avoid calling this project an upgrade because we truly did not upgrade their NAV. What we called it was a re-implementation. Yes, so we wanted to implement it better with just a limited set of modifications with huge number of interfaces, admittedly, as Carl explained. But first, you need to understand what is the motivation there. Then when you go to BC Online, of course, the part of IT infrastructure is not going to be your headache because it's very easy, very straightforward to really manage environments, to manage users, to create copies of environments, to have backups. So that is something that is not going to be a headache. And then from the perspective of your organization, you need to figure out where the data is, where your data is stored. It would typically be stored in European economic area. If that's fine from the perspective of your organization, you will be safe here. Okay, another one. Yes, admittedly, with BC Online, you will have no direct access to SQL. So when your partner or your teams were used to running some SQL procedures, that will no longer be available. You will have only access through the application. There are mandatory upgrades twice a year. We have delved upon that already. So you need to make sure that you are working with a solid partner who already knows the complexities involved here. This is not like a huge task, but this is a task that needs to be appreciated and really taken care of. I know from our perspective that we needed to tweak a little bit our internal processes to make sure that there is a specific team who is responsible for making sure that we don't omit any upgrade, because there within the system you have like automatic notification that the upgrade is coming. Select your upgrade window. So this is something that your partner will need to take care of. Yes, and Business Central Online is only available through subscription licensing. Yes, so it will work great, especially if from time to time you will need more users in the system, then you will need less users in the system. So subscription can be done in monthly, yearly, or 3-yearly intervals. Monthly would be the most flexible, of course. So you can add users whenever you want. You can subtract them at the end of your billing cycle. So it works. It gives you like additional flexibility. And also a great plus is that you have per tenant licensing. It means that there was a question before, do we have Nord Trampoline on one production database or several of them? The answer was that we have them on 5 production databases. So each additional database needs to be licensed separately, but users are licensed across the whole tenant. So if we have a user who is going to need access to environment in Norway, in Sweden, and in Germany, they need only one user license for that. Yes, Swedish, Norwegian, and German environments will need to be licensed as well, but the user needs just one license per tenant. Okay. How many modifications? Yeah, this is another point to consider. So having really many modifications will add some additional work to this one. So to make sure that your system will work after mandatory upgrades, we'll need just to monitor more of the modifications. But it's possible to do within BC Online. The same goes for interfaces. Yes, so these are the points which increase complexity and will increase the complexity or might increase the complexity around testing. Yeah, but in Nord Trampoline, as you could have seen, we have 16 interfaces. That's quite a lot, and not that many, because just 10 modifications or bigger modifications. So it would be like an average size implementation in BC Online, I would say. Okay, user training onboarding. This is what I have quoted as a big plus of the system, because we have lots of opportunities to self-study, to also give you this onboarding experience within Business Central. Yes, and something that cannot be overseen is like a very strong ecosystem of partners. So this is not like another ERP system. This is Business Central Online. This is part of Microsoft stack. Microsoft will not abandon it. There are 5,000 partners who work with it daily. So this is a very safe place to be. Okay, and I would recommend to you, because this, yeah, we are explaining that there are many apps in the app stores. I would recommend to you to check your verticals. Maybe you are a food producer, or maybe you would like to have strong WMS capabilities. There will be something provided within standard of Business Central, of course, that can be then enhanced. But maybe we should start looking from the perspective of app source, yes, and look at the extensions which will match your vertical. Okay, and we have already seen that this is a truly global system with more than 80 localizations. So the system is ready to work in line with local rules, regulations in we can say all over the world. These are all of the continents already, and the system will be also available in local language or a dialect. Okay, and the last thing, the thing that I mentioned briefly, because we have noticed, because we are coming from a place where 3 years ago we were like a typical NAV partner, making those big, heavily customized projects, and this is still part of our operations. Whereas for Business Central Online, we need a more robust approach, and an approach which will help us and help customers stick more to the standard of the system, because this is how they can get all the benefits with future upgrades without all the hassle connected with monitoring and checking all the modifications in the system. So that is why we have come up with an idea of a system prototype. So typically for BC Online, we will not start with a big analysis. We will start with prototyping the system. So we will engage with a customer, get some setup and migration data from them, put that data into standard BC Online, and start showing the system to the customer. So like Patrick from Northampton explained that for them, like a crucial assumption was that we are using the standard. There should be a very strong business case not to do so. And that's why we had such a limited list of modifications. So with system prototype, we are getting exactly that. So we are starting from a place where we're saying that, okay, look, this is what standard can offer. If you can adapt, that's great. That will work to your benefit. If you cannot absolutely adapt, okay, let's find it for a solution. Maybe there's an app or an app source. Maybe we can create a modification or an interface, but there should be a very strong business case for that. Okay, so that would be it about Business Central. Now just a couple of words about our team. In fact, about EIP Dynamics. So we are 100% focused on business applications, and within business applications, there is only Business Central. We also work with Power BI. Our team has 85 employees currently, but there is a very good balance between experts and non-experts, because we have 35 of senior people. We are responsible for the largest implementation in Central and Eastern Europe, still on Dynamics NAV, and our experience traces back to 15 years ago. And within that time, we have been Partner of the Year on 3 occasions. Yes, Partner of the Year award. This is award for all business application partners. So there are tens of them in Poland. Okay, we are a truly international partner, more than 30 countries, most of European countries, also United States and Canada. And we already are pretty strong with Business Central. We have more than 20 implementations, including BC Online. And in Poland, where we are located, we are divided into several teams. Some of them are dedicated to projects. Some of them they deliver help desk services. Some of them they help you develop, enhance your system. And we are authors of applications, but we also try to use what's best in the app stores. Like Continua was a great example. In terms of our customers, apart from North Trampoline, we are also dealing with big names like Vapiano and Dean and David. There are chains of restaurants in Europe. In progress, there is a big implementation for Booksy, which is just starting in the UK. They are going live in the UK. Then they will go live in Spain. Also, they have their system in Poland and in the US, but this is an installed version and will be going to the cloud soon. Okay, so that will be it. I can be here for some more time for a Q&A. I can see that there are some questions. Okay, I'll take the first one. Microsoft was planning to move to yearly billing. Is it right? Yes, that's correct. Now, with newcomers experience, there is an annual billing and there is also a 3-year billing, and the fact is that the annual billing will come with a discount compared to a monthly billing. Okay, is there any possibility in BC to track efficiency of accounting teams, for example, processing time versus number of invoices registered? Yeah, that's a very interesting question that we'll for sure follow up upon after the meeting. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that we can set up some functionality to help you track that. Okay, is there anything else? Okay, thanks for being with us until the very end. It was 2.5 hours of Business Central online education. I hope that you found it really educational and also entertaining. And thank you helping us celebrate this moment, because as I said, yeah, it was for us a big thing, great step towards becoming like a fully functional Business Central online partner with North Trampoline, because this was yeah, the biggest implementation so far. So if any one of you would like to contact, yeah, you can pull up your phones and when you scan this QR code, you will go directly to my LinkedIn profile. Just say hi. I'll be happy to communicate via LinkedIn or via email, which is also provided here. So yeah, thanks for your time. Thanks for spending part of the day with us. It's possible to get the recording of this presentation. That's for sure. Yeah, maybe I'll comment on that. So after the meeting, I think that until the end of this week, maybe early next week, we will send you the recording, the slides to the material, and also Q&A in the form of a transcript. And some of the answers will be like deep dives. Okay, so thank you so much for your time. See you on our events in the future. Bye-bye.